The lights in the Tokyo Dome dimmed, and the crowd fell into a low, tense hum. Everyone knew what was about to unfold, a clash not just of champions, but of philosophies. On one side stood Naoya Inoue, the monster from Japan, his calm expression hiding the ferocity beneath. Across the ring, Stephen Fulton, the undefeated technician from Philadelphia, stood tall, sharp, composed, and ready to silence the storm. This wasn't just a fight. It was a question of power versus precision, fire versus ice. As the bell rang, the sound cut through the air like a gunshot. Fulton circled, moving lightly, testing distance with his jab. Inoue stood still, patient, unblinking, studying every rhythm. The crowd could feel it. Something dangerous was brewing. Fulton's reach allowed him to control the early seconds, tagging Inoue with sharp jabs, quick pivots, and confident movement. But behind Inoue's calm face, something else was happening. Calculation. He wasn't losing. He was downloading data, piece by piece, second by second. Midway through the round, Inoue's first counter exploded, a right hand that shot through Fulton's guard like lightning. The thud echoed across the arena. Fulton's eyes widened, and suddenly the energy changed. The crowd erupted, sensing the shift. The monster had awakened. Inoue pressed forward, cutting off the ring with surgical precision, his every move efficient, terrifying. Fulton, to his credit, fired back. Hooks, jabs, uppercuts, but Inoue absorbed them like whispers. The bell ended the round, but the tone was set. Fulton knew now what everyone in boxing already feared. Inoue didn't chase chaos, he created it. Round 2 began with electricity in the air. Fulton adjusted, using his reach and slick movement to slow the pace. His jab flicked like a whip, and for a moment, he looked in control, dictating the rhythm, keeping Inoue outside his range. But control is an illusion against a fighter like Inoue. Beneath the surface calm, the storm was building. Inoue's footwork was silent, ghost-like. He wasn't chasing. He was closing, inch by inch, like a predator, tightening the circle around its prey. Then, a right hook from Inoue smashed into Fulton's body. The sound was heavy, sickening. Fulton winced but stayed composed. Inoue saw it, that half-second of reaction, and his eyes sharpened. He had found the weakness. Now the pattern changed. Inoue began mixing speeds, feinting high and ripping low. His punches weren't just fast, they were surgical. Fulton tried to respond, doubling his jab, throwing straight rights, but each exchange pushed him further onto the defensive. The crowd could feel it. Every Inoue attack carried danger. Every second, the pressure mounted. Fulton's corner screamed for him to stay outside, to control distance. But it was too late. Inoue had found his rhythm. Late in the round, a flurry from Inoue snapped Fulton's head back. Left hook, right straight, left uppercut. Fulton backed off, gloves high, cried intact but shaken. As the bell rang, the camera zoomed in on Inoue's face, emotionless, focused, terrifying. He wasn't breathing heavy. He wasn't smiling. He was studying, still building toward the inevitable. And in the crowd, the energy shifted from excitement to awe. They weren't watching a fight anymore. They were watching precision become violence. The third round began with Inoue walking forward like a shadow given form. Fulton tried to re-establish control with combinations, but his punches no longer carried the same confidence. Every time he threw, Inoue countered. Faster, cleaner, harder. It was like fighting someone who could see the future. A minute into the round, Inoue unleashed a double jab right straight combination that connected flush. Fulton's guard held, but his balance wavered. The crowd gasped. The monster was fully awake now. Inoue feinted low, then blasted a left hook upstairs that snapped Fulton's head sideways. Sweat flew through the air. Fulton staggered but refused to go down. His heart was unbreakable, but his control was slipping fast. Inoue smelled blood. He pressed forward, not recklessly, but with frightening precision. Each movement was calculated. Each punch meant something. Fulton threw a counter right. Inoue slipped it by millimeters and punished him with a hook to the liver. Fulton gritted his teeth, but the pain showed. Then came the sequence that changed everything. Inoue threw a jab, Fulton blocked, and instantly, the right hand followed like lightning. It landed flush on the chin. Fulton's body froze, eyes blinking in shock. Inoue pounced with a brutal combination. Left hook, right straight, uppercut. Fulton reeled backward, the rope saving him from the canvas. The referee watched closely as the crowd exploded. The bell saved Fulton, but just barely. He stumbled to his corner, his face pale, his rhythm gone. Across the ring, Inoue sat on his stool like a statue, silent, eyes locked on his prey. Everyone knew what was coming next. The question wasn't if, it was when. Fulton threw a counter right. Inoue slipped it by millimeters and punished him with a hook to the liver. Fulton gritted his teeth, but the pain showed. Then came the sequence that changed everything. Inoue threw a jab, Fulton blocked, and instantly the right hand followed like lightning. It landed flush on the chin. Fulton's body froze, eyes blinking in shock. Inoue pounced with a brutal combination. Left hook, right straight, uppercut. Fulton reeled backward. The ropes, saving him from the canvas. The referee watched closely as the crowd exploded. The bell saved Fulton, but just barely. He stumbled to his corner, his face pale, his rhythm gone. Across the ring, Inoue sat on his stool like a statue, silent, eyes locked on his prey. Everyone knew what was coming next. The question wasn't if, it was when. And then came the moment that would replay in highlight reels forever. Inoue feinted a jab, stepped right, and detonated a left hook to the chin. Fulton's knees buckled, his gloves dropped, and Inoue followed with a lightning-fast 1-2 that sent Fulton crashing to the canvas. The referee rushed in as the crowd erupted in disbelief. Fulton tried to rise, but his legs betrayed him. Inoue stood in the center of the ring, composed, respectful, yet lethal. The referee counted, and time slowed to nothing. Fulton beat the count, but his body was trembling. The bell rang seconds later, saving him again. But everyone in the arena knew the end was near. The fifth round opened with a sense of inevitability. Fulton's eyes were defiant, but his body was fading. Across the ring, Inoue was calm, almost eerily so, a man in complete control of his craft. The crowd stood on its feet, chanting, sensing they were witnessing something historic. Fulton fired his jab, one last act of defiance, but Inoue walked through it. His timing, his composure, everything was perfect. He slipped, pivoted, and unleashed a devastating right-left combination. Fulton's head snapped back, and before he could react, Inoue dropped a final right hand that sent him collapsing to the canvas. The referee waved it off. It was over. Naoya Inoue, the monster, had done it again. The crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Inoue didn't celebrate wildly. He simply raised his gloves, bowed his head, and looked at Fulton with respect. Fulton, beaten but not broken, nodded back. There was no shame here, only the acknowledgement that tonight he faced something extraordinary. Inoue stood in the center of the ring, surrounded by flashing lights and chants of his name. It wasn't just victory, it was mastery. Cold, efficient, beautiful destruction. And as the broadcast faded to black, one truth echoed through the world of boxing. Naoya Inoue isn't chasing greatness, he is greatness.